Oh, yeah. And we're doing it live. Paraglidingtalk.com. Glad you're here tonight. Welcome to the show. It is slim pickings tonight. There is the majority of the people are out, and they are at Bad Apples tonight. I don't think they have very good internet because I haven't got one ping. I don't think anybody's watching from there. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I think one of the years they had some good internet. We've got a special guest tonight. Steve Vanfleet is coming on at some point tonight. He hasn't logged in yet. All my moderation staff is late or missing. Pretty excited about that. It's amazing. You never know what you're going to get on paraglidingtalk.com. Really good, exciting things happening with the show, exciting things happening with the future of the show. I do want to mention just a couple sponsors, two of those sponsors right away out of the gate. I want to mention PPG Zone. That's Josh Perry's social media platform. Go check that out. He literally designed it for paramotor and free flight people. And so if you're into flying at all, you're really going to enjoy that. There's all kinds of resources on there. So welcome. Also want to encourage you to make a profile on there and say hi and, load your picture on there and say what's up to me so I can follow you on there. And so excited about that. Go check out ppgzone.com. Also, this show is brought to you by Midwest Parajet. Their website is midwestparajet.com. All kinds of great things going on across the Midwest with training. So their website, again, is midwestparajet.com. Also, the show is brought to you by PPG Smoke. Ryan Roberts runs PPG Smoke. He's got all kinds of great stuff that he's adding to the flying community and really reasonably priced. And he's not in it for the money. He's in it to help out the flying community. He's always been that way. And you'll see some, I know there's haters out there, whatever, but he is an amazing guy, really good friend of mine. And so anyways, go check out his website, ppgsmoke.com. If you are interested in getting involved in a huge giveaway, it's actually going to be one of the biggest giveaways or the biggest giveaway on the show. The way you get in, you have to pre-buy the headset. It's called the Unity headset. It's on his website, so it's ppgsmoke.com. If you pre-order the headset, your name goes into the raffle, and then we're going to give away a paramotor. So that's a massive thing to do. Pretty cool thing that Ryan is going to do. And so it'll be on the show. Stay tuned. So I'm glad that you're here. Welcome. As everybody's logging in, welcome. My mom's in the chat. Hey, Mom. Andrew Luna's in the chat. What's up, man? Also, David Hunt just logged on. David Hunt is, we did a SIV together, and we became best friends after that, really. So glad that you guys are logging in here. I'm just kind of covering for our guest who's running a little bit late, and so he's probably working, and he's a tandem pilot at Torrey Pines, and so he's probably got his stuff in the trunk of the car, and he's hauling to get home. So just stay tuned. He'll log in any second, I'm sure. And if not, we're going to talk about all things paragliding anyways, and then we'll shame him publicly on the internet. It'll be amazing. And so, and if he doesn't come on, big deal. We'll do some prank calls. Maybe we'll prank call some people. It's always great fun. Always great fun. David Hunt says he hates me. That's fine. It happens. You know what I mean? Hey, Craig Taylor. Fantastic. Craig, I'm glad that you made it. Yeah, so he's logging on. Also, I want to mention this show is brought to you by paraorangeproducts.com. Go check out paraorangeproducts.com on the website, paraorange.com or Paraorange Products. I bought a couple things from their website, I'll have you know. One of those, one of the best investments for paramotoring, I bought a extending, it's like a giant fishing pole, and but it's pretty stout. So you could probably use it for deep sea fishing, but extends out like, I don't know, 20 feet, 18 feet or something like that. And then I bought a long, durable, it's got like a little streamer, And so that thing, I got a little mount on my Jeep, and now when I pull up to the spot to fly the paramotor, bust that thing out, whoop, flag up, and I'm good to go. And yeah, paraorangeproducts.com. Awesome stuff. Jeremy liked this. Graham is in the chat. He was just on the show last week. What's up, homie? Glad you made it. I see everybody starting to log in. DP, what's up? Glad you're in here. Chris Fenmore, what up? Jordan Scone, one of the twins, is in here. What up? Glad you guys are logging in. Jeff Mack. What's up, Jeff Mack? Craig Taylor, the madman. Aren't you supposed to be still working? You should be behind a backhoe right now.
I literally dropped the grease gun and like ran and went, oh man, it's Thursday. Holy crap, we gotta run.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured you were working till the last minute in the dark. It's probably cold over there too, huh?
Yeah, we got like 60 today. It was, not quite t-shirts, long sleeves. And the bad part about it is there was no wind whatsoever. And I'm looking at flagpoles in every direction and they're just hanging.
Oh, you could have went flying.
Oh, all day.
Dang it.
But of course that is not part of the plan.
Got to work. Got to dig those pools.
Dig them.
Yeah.
Fix them. Open them.
By the way, Craig Taylor has Wicked Wings logos. If you're trying to get a logo for your wing, you can reach out to him. wickedwingslogos.com. Is that right? That's the website?
There's no official website still, but Wicked Wings logo at gmail.com.
Oh, that's what it was.
I get the email. I'll be honest with you, I'm a little backed up. I've got a couple of orders. The guys are probably at Bad Apples cursing me right now.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, we didn't talk about this before the show, so we're just going to put Craig out there like that.
Oh, man, I'm feeling the flame right now. There's definitely a couple of guys at Bad Apples cursing me for not getting their logos out fast enough.
I know that you're a hustler. I texted you the other day, and I know that you're literally just trying to make things happen, and short-staffed. I know what it is to run a small business or work a small business, and so I feel the pain, bro. I'm with you.
It's really a big juggle.
Yeah,
we're a small business like this doing volume like that.
Yeah. And you probably still got people giving you bid requests and all kinds of stuff.
Out till 2024 right now.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just it's crazy.
Well, that's a good problem to have, I guess. Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah. No kidding. Wow. Well, anyways, so I want to talk tonight a little bit about, there's been a couple incidents recently. Actually today, my mom texted me about a guy who had an incident, trying to pull up our text message conversation. And so just want to ask you to pray for this guy, Nick LaBouffe. He broke his pelvis. I think it has something to do with flying paramotors. Somebody in the chat just recently asked how the paramotoring is going for me. I'm really loving it, man. And cat or no man. Yeah. I'm loving it, man. Such a cool thing to be able to just run into the air and yeah, it's noisy. I like free flying and whatever. And there's gas involved and there's all kinds of things that you have to be worrying about, but I'm enjoying it. And special thanks to Ross Gasaway. He when he visited just a little while ago, he had this wing. He's like, I'm probably sell this wing. And he goes, why don't you fly it, man, and check it out and see if you want to buy it. And so he left it with me, and I haven't paid him for it. And so I'm going to. And so anyways, he dropped that off and trusted me that I was going to take care of his wing. Well, the other day I was messing around and I was on launch and there was no wind. And so I'm like, I can create my own wind. And I leaned back and I gave it a little gas just to fold the wing open like that. And it went, and then it kind of gassed up a little bit, and then it lost its energy. And one of the lines just went right into the prop. And I'm like, no, gosh, turn it off right away. And so just one line, I had to take it in, get it repaired at Torrey Pines Glider Port. Actually, oddly enough, Steve Vanfleet's wife, Anna, is the one who fixed it. So shout out to her. She does all the repair work over at Torrey Pines, which is a sponsor of the show, by the way. I know we got tons of sponsors. You guys are a part of something magnificent tonight. So, anyways, what's the deal with the bad apples right now? Is it flyable? You know, does anybody know? I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything bad.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I know there was some storm fronts moving across the southeastern U.S., but I don't know if they cleared out or missed them or dissipated or what the case is on that. But I hope they get a few days at least. I know I caught just a glimpse of After Dark last night, and there's saying something like 150 plus pilots around there. It's a big one.
That is a big one. Well, make sure that that you behave yourselves. 150 people, you can get a lot of trouble.
Yeah, definitely. The what do they call the launch directors? They'd be busy on the field for that one for sure. You know.
DP just said it was rainy, crappy, but tomorrow through the weekend it's supposed to be primo.
Yeah, so that front must have moved through, and then it's gonna give them the graces.
I'm kind of jealous. I'll just say that.
Yeah, me
a little
too.
Jealous, and so I haven't been checking the weather and I was secretly kind of just, well, if it's bad weather, that wouldn't be so bad.
I'm with you.
That's horrible. I know.
So wish upon the jealousy is all.
Yeah, they're out there just having fun while we're over there slaving.
Bunch of bums. Some people got jobs.
I know. Did you see that? Did you see that? That's what I said in the chat before the show started. Yeah, a bunch of hippies.
Oh,
said all the people watching tonight have jobs.
They're at work.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do want to mention some things. One of those things is since we're in the month of May, I want to say Mayday, repack your reserves. And I also want to mention tonight that I found that there's a lot of people that don't fly with a reserve. And that's a little discerning to me. Want to encourage you to get a reserve and consider that as a part of your flying repertoire. Get a reserve. Now, if you don't know what to do, if you don't know what kind of reserve, talk to your instructor first. And if you don't have your instructors or your instructor that you can talk to, you can always reach out to a guy like Phil Russman or a Jeff Gowen or these guys. They have learned what works and what doesn't. They've been around for a long time, and consider do some research on it. Some guys have the front mount. Mine is in a pack on the side, so side mount. I think I may in the future go with a front mount and the side mount, especially if I'm going to be messing around doing acro or anything like that eventually. But I think it's a great, I think it's a great idea. And especially in the month of May, most people have reserves. And it's funny, I talk to a lot of people, and oddly enough, people don't pack their reserves as much as they're supposed to. And there's always this conversation that comes up, and this is how it goes. It'll be like, oh yeah, you got your reserve. Yeah. But it hasn't been packed in like 3 years. And that conversation comes up, and it's always like this kind of like, I got dirty laundry. That we should be considering that. So if I can do a public service tonight, I just want to encourage you and remind you, get your reserve repacked. Now, something I also thought was a good idea is if you can sign up to learn how to pack your own reserve. And don't think just because there's some stigma attached to it that you can't learn how to do it. It is really, it is a really good thing. Jim, CR120, he asked, what is my current reserve that I'm using? I'm kind of a lightweight fella, so mine is a 100 kg. The brand slips my mind, but it's a round. And we can talk just a little bit about reserves for a second. I don't know much about them. I have not been under reserve. I have not thrown a reserve. We were going to do it at the, I was going to say fly-in, at the clinic, but I didn't want to get wet just before I was going to get on the airplane. So we waited until the last day everybody was throwing their reserves. And I thought that would be fun. It would be cool, whatever. But I also didn't want to have soaking wet clothes getting onto the airplane, because I literally went from spinning and doing crazy stuff in the air, landed, the boat took me back to the hotel or whatever it was, or the cabin, and then I shot straight from there to the airport, dropped my car off, and got on an airplane. So I would have been sitting on the plane, half wet and regretting. So maybe next time I'll throw the reserve on the first day or something like that. But anyways, amazing. Randy Clark says, Robert, my wife is watching with me tonight. She doesn't believe I know you. You have to say hi to Bonnie. Randy Clark, Bonnie. I have no idea who these people are. Anyways, I'm just kidding. Randy is amazing. He's a local pilot here. We fly together. He's actually my logo guy. Oddly enough, he takes care of the logos for our company, and he makes some really good signs. So what's up, Randy? And have a good evening. I'm glad that we've got a new watcher, a new Bonnie is a new subscriber, I hope, to paraglidingtalk.com. Yeah. So anyways, Mayday, repack your reserve. The other part of that is that if you're not interested in packing your own reserve, don't worry about it. There's some places that you can send it, get it repacked and sent back to you. And I'll leave that up to you to find those places. There are numbers of them. One of them is Torrey. You can send it to torreypines.com or flytorrey.com. There's phone numbers on there. You can get a hold of people, and then you can figure out what you need to do to get to them. There's also some other places, and they're slipping my mind. My wife is saying, hello, husband, in the chat. Hello, my lovely wife. Beautiful woman. If you guys know a good place to get your reserve repacked, drop that in the chat, and I'll give them a shout out. Want to Fly's with us. Good evening, Want to Fly. Charlie Wash, hello there. Mark Rogers is in here as well. Welcome. Yes. Big Tex is in here. What's up, Big Tex? Yes. If I haven't given you a shout out, I just haven't noticed you yet. Glad that you're here.
BG Tex and DG Tex, husband and wife watch.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. I thought I was just kind of missing something. So there is a DG Tex.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's Brian and Dina. Very, very nice.
Oh, no kidding. Where are they from?
They used to be BGNH for New Hampshire, but they moved to Texas, so now it's BGTX.
Okay, that makes sense. The TX makes sense now. I like Texas.
I do gotta admit, I'm one of those people that does not have a current inspection and repack on his reserve.
There's all kinds of shaming going on here for Craig Taylor tonight.
Sorry, I'm on it.
I've got a confession to make. I bought my very first wing and harness with a reserve. I bought it, and the last time that it had been repacked was in 2004. that's how old the wing was. That's how old the reserve was. So or I should say I think it got repacked in 2005 or something like that. And then I bought it. So it was in the same container for like 10 years. So before I flew, I opened it up very carefully because I knew it was going to be bad. And this is really funny. I was so new to paragliding that I didn't know what that was, the handle. And I was like, what is this? So I pulled the handle and the two little hooks came out. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. I better not be pulling. It's like something came over me, like, don't pull that. And I'm like, okay. And I start to put it back together. I'm like, okay, we're good now. Just kind of put it back in there. And then I talked to somebody, and this was long before I flew. And they were like, dude, when was the last time that was repacked? And I'm like, I don't know. It's probably never been repacked, since whatever. And so I wasn't going to bother the people I bought it from. I didn't actually want to talk to them ever again because I felt like I got such a good deal from them that I don't want them to change their mind or something. Well, I pulled it out of the bag a little further and I found the details of the brand and the size and all that. And I just went on YouTube and found a video, start to finish repack video on that exact reserve. And so I'm like, well, I need to repack it. So I pulled it out, fluffed it, and then I watched the video step by step and repacked my own reserve. Don't do that. But in my mind, I was like, this has to be done. And I didn't know that you would take it to a person, that you would pay someone to do it. And anyways, I repacked my own reserve.
So yeah, I think that the time is right to do exactly that when you're gonna have it sent and repacked, or sign up with try to time the course.
Like
try to time the course for doing the repacking course before it's just about that time.
Yep, I like that. One of the things that you want to consider too is your rubber bands. Buy real rubber bands. They're called rubber bands for a reason. If you buy the ones that are like this plastic composite something or other that's not real rubber, they turn crusty right away. But genuine rubber bands last a long time. And I found them at this little, it's like an Asian marketplace that sells like all kinds of Chinese stuff and actually Japanese stuff, I should say. Gosh, it slips my mind the name of it. Katsu or something like that. Anyways, great place to find the rubber bands. Oddly enough, genuine rubber bands. Yes, self-trained reserve pack. I know.
Were they dust, crumbling and dusty when you pulled them out?
No, actually. So the ones that came with the bag, were still good. And from 2004. So they were genuine rubber bands, but there was some that were on the repack that were kind of crunchy. And I was thinking about that. We had this conversation with the guy who was a little upset that I had repacked my own reserve. And he's like, dude. And he goes, and what about the rubber bands you use? It now, I did use the right rubber bands, but and I that was a coincidence. That just happened. And he goes, he goes, what happens if they're bad? And I said, it doesn't matter. Even if they're crunchy, that's even better. Because when I throw it, I just want them to bust off and I want my wing to just pop out. Anyways, bad idea to fly old reserves. That reserve is in a better place now. But I have a newer, lighter reserve, and I'm kind of stepping on. I was really hoping that Brad Ganuscio would come on the show somewhere in the month of May, but he hasn't been checking his text messages, and I don't blame him. If you're flying or you're having fun, who cares about what's happening on your phone? You know what I mean?
Seriously.
And tonight, like everybody's out flying or doing stuff because the weather's good. Good for you. Watch this show. If you can fly, go fly. You know what I'm saying? We're just a bunch of dorks that don't have anything to do on a Thursday night. Paraglidingtalk.com is here for your entertainment. That's right. By the way, this show is brought to you by American Allied Drains and Plumbing. If you're in the San Diego area and you need some plumbing repairs, or you need just a drain unplugged, or you need some new piping underground, these are the guys that you want to call. And if you mention Paragliding Talk, they will give you 10% off of your bill. You want to know the number? Of course you do. 844-777-9055. That's American Allied Drains and Plumbing. And you can also follow them on Instagram now. Can you believe that? Craig Taylor, do you have an Instagram for your pool business?
Yeah, actually, the office runs that one. It's
nice.
At Clearwater Pools, Nantucket.
Okay.
I've got one, but I'll tell you, I'm really socially challenged.
You're a social media personality that doesn't know how to do social media.
I just don't bother. Like, I can't read and reply to texts either. Like, I'm busy. I mean, it's my phone. But yeah, that's at One Leg Flyer, Nantucket.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that. I'm not even following you on Instagram.
It's there somewhere.
Okay. Yeah, you can follow the show on Paragliding Talk on Instagram. Oh, Steve Vanfleet is texting me right now. He's calling me. Hold on. I'm going to tell him he's going to be live right now. Hold on.
He wants to know how to get in.
Steve, you are live. You are live right now on the internet. I answered on speakerphone.
Okay. So I'm on a telephone. Does that work?
No, we're not going to make you do it on the phone.
Oh.
I figured you were probably working late, and we're covering for you. We're doing some public shaming as well.
Yeah. It's epic day over here at Torrey.
Is it really?
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh
yeah,
man.
It's still on. It'll be on until sunset.
Nice.
Yeah. So what do I need? I can't use my cell phone.
You can actually if you wanted to, but I'm not going to make you do that, man. You're enjoying some air. No worries.
No, man. Nope. Let's rock.
So did you want to try to log in with your phone and try the internet thing, or you just want to do it like this?
We could go like this. Works just fine with me, as long as reception sounds good and everything.
Are you in the air right now?
No, I'm out of the air.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to hold you hostage, but I do have a couple really good.
I do quite a bit in the air, man. I buy and sell Bitcoin sometimes.
You got crypto too?
Totally, man.
Nice. We definitely have to talk about that. So
I'm big on the technical analysis, man.
Nice. I've got someone, Mark Rogers, just donated $5 to the super chat. Also, my wife just donated $10 to the super chat. DP donated $10 to the super chat. Thank you for your kind, generous donations. Big Tex donated $5 to the super chat. He said, Limerick time. There once was a Craig from Nantucket. We're not going to finish that. So anyways, we've got such an awesome group of amazing pilots in Southern California, and especially at Torrey Pines. And Steve is one of them. He's a tandem pilot. He's also an instructor, and he's got just a really good head on his shoulders for flying. I've watched him do some acro. I very rarely see him fumble the ball when it comes to launching, especially with passengers. And so my first thing. Oh, by the way, Steve is a cage fighter, and I found his YouTube channel today, and I found a video. I'm going to share just a little clip of one of his fights, and pretty awesome stuff. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So let me ask you first, how did you get into paragliding?
So I was in Germany for martial arts. I was working for a Department of Defense over there and snowboarding in the Alps. And I take the cable car up, and I got my snowboard. And these guys get in, and they got these backpacks. I'm like, what, you're going to build a snow cave or something? You got no skis? And we get up there, and these guys lay out these gliders, man, and they go boom, 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 off into the sky, and I'm like, oh, I'm the little slow kid. And that snowboard went in the closet. And I just went in and signed up at a school. I never did a tandem or anything until I was learning to be a tandem pilot. So, yeah, that's what got me hooked on that.
So who did you sign up with? Who was your instructor?
Elias Fertinger. He's in the Black Forest in Germany. And so I learned on a farm and using a winch, a stationary winch. So in Europe, they don't do the pay-ins like we do, you know, behind a vehicle or a boat. They got a stationary winch, more like a sailplanes. And so that's what we had out in a farm field. And I thought that was really effective teaching style.
So Germany has some pretty awesome flying.
It does. They don't have very good weather there, but it's a quick shot down to Italy and France. So, you know, probably most of the flying I did was in Italy. That's the thing about Germany, man. It's easy to get here and there in Europe.
So you were making a living cage fighting. Is that accurate?
No, you know, because I was doing it before it was really cool and really big. Like UFC, when I first started, UFC was paying $1,000 to show up and another $1,000 if you won.
Oh my God.
There's no way you could, you know, I had students doing it. And I'm like, look, man, if you're a good athlete, go play football or basketball.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, and just do martial arts for fun because there was no money in it. So, but I was fighting in cages just for fun, some, you know, to do on the weekend because I like martial arts. And then just lucky for me, the U.S. Army adopted an MMA program, and I helped them develop it. And then they sent me to Europe to run the European theater. And so that's what took me to Europe. And the military has its own UFC culture in it, which I like a lot.
What's your thought about modern day MMA?
You know, it's good stuff. The thing with me is I've always been a martial artist, and I always look at it from a real combat kind of perspective, and it's just not real because, although they say real as it gets, and the reason that it's not is because they have gloves.
Yeah.
And why do they wear gloves? They wear gloves so that they don't break their hands, because punching people in the head is not real. That's why boxers wear boxing gloves, so they don't break their hands. It's not for the other guy's face. So when you start introducing those things, then it takes the reality out of it a little bit.
Right.
It's still a cool sport, and I like doing it, but hands aren't for hitting, man. Hands are for grabbing. Elbows and knees are for hitting.
So you're kind of fading in and out. I'm not sure if our connection is great. Mark,
I'm at Torrey Pines.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Mark H donated $10 to the super chat, and
did I say something bad?
No, you did not. John Wayne also donated $10 to the super chat. You just keep on talking because you're making money right now on the show.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about instructing from the ground. A thought that I had the other day was that you have to really be very savvy about flying before you can instruct, for this one reason, that if you're on the ground and you're on radio and someone is in the air, you really need to know what they need to do, especially if it gets into an emergency situation. And so talk a little bit about instructing from the ground. How long did it take for you to feel comfortable training and teaching on radio?
it's still a little bit odd to me because you're somewhat responsible for someone else's actions. And sometimes it's kind of like flying a remote control plane that the remote stops working because they do their own thing, and it's quite a handful. It's not my strongest point.
Have you ever had somebody have a hard landing or crash on while you're training them?
Yeah. And injuries are something that can happen. Usually it's just because they get fixated on a direction, and they're not listening. Their brain is just not listening because the internal dialogue in their head is too loud. And it's the same with tandem passengers. Like when I load up a tandem passenger, they're so worried about the flight that they're not listening to the instructions to stay on their feet, and they immediately flop over onto the ground.
Yeah. Yep.
Because they're not listening. They don't hear you, man.
Yeah.
They don't hear you, dude, because that voice in their head is so loud. I had that voice probably for my first 100 flights as a new paraglider pilot. That voice in the head that was going, "Why are you doing this? You got a great job and a beautiful life. What are you doing this? This is dangerous." And,
Yeah.
I would tell that voice, "Shut up, man. We're doing this. We're going to be pilots, and this is what we're doing." And about 100 flights, it went away. But it was loud, man.
Yeah. Be quiet. I know what I'm doing.
I know what I'm doing. Shut up, sit back, and enjoy the ride.
Yeah. That's hilarious. You.
I'll tell you, my favorite job at Torrey Pines. I mean, for me, I love kiting, and I love to teach kiting. But probably my favorite job is to take the students on a tandem flight. And I think that that a lot of the instruction should be that. So, in the air, I can talk about, hey, you should be looking at the back of that guy's head. He's about to make a left turn. You should be slightly on his right side. Look at this. I'm setting this up. I'm going to move over here because of this guy's doing that. And teaching them how to be a good pool player and setting up their next shot. And it's not so stressful as when they're under radio control.
Right.
And I think them being in a tandem is a lot is neglected part of the instruction process because it's super intensive. You can't be on the ground running 5 students. You have to individually grab each one, so it just doesn't get done. But that's how aviation is taught in an airplane or something. You go learn how to fly an airplane. You got your instructor, you sit next to him, and he starts handing over controls little bits at a time. Paragliding should be the same.
Like that. Talk about your worst student ever.
Oh, man. I have to think of, I'd have to sit and reflect.
Okay.
Who that would be.
Yeah, think about that for a second. I'll dial up another question for you. Let's talk about some of your personal experiences and maybe some of the adventures that you've gone on, and talk about a time when you were completely out of control and what did you learn from it?
Probably my worst blunder, and I was out of control, and I rode the cable car up. I was flying in Germany, and I'm like a new P2, and I'm way over my head. I'm out there by myself, and I should be and there's nobody there because it's not flyable, and the wind direction is not good. So I sit down and I wait, and I'm just watching the sock, and it finally starts trickling in the right direction. I've got my gear laid out already, so I just turn and I launch. And as I launch, I can't really see the valley yet. I've launched, and now I look down, and all it is a sea of cloud and I can't see the valley floor. And I'm about to go through this cloud bank, this fog. And the cable car goes right through it. So I'm like, okay, man, I just got to fly a straight line, which is difficult when you're in the white room. And I'm flying. I sink down into this cloud, and I can't see anything. And I'm trying to remember where the cable car is and where the side of the mountain is. And I see the cable car pass like 3 feet from me. I was like, oh my God, dude. And then finally I pop out the bottom of the fog and I can see the valley, and I landed just fine. But I was completely out of control. It was just luck, man. It was a roll of the dice.
Wow. That is terrifying. But you didn't no event.
That was scary.
So what was your big takeaway from that? I mean, obviously, don't just wing it into the clouds.
Yeah, one of our P2 requirements in USPA is that you have to be able to see the LZ from the takeoff.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, that's actually in regulations there, and that's what makes a P2 site a P2 site. One of the things is that you can actually see the LZ from where you launch. And so it was that I could not see even the general area or didn't look.
So we can pretty much say that it was your fault why we have that rule.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, so, it's amazing the things that people live through in this sport.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the most dangerous thing about flying the coast, particularly Torrey Pines.
To me, the most dangerous I see is when it's super light and people are scratching around next to the cliff in really light lift and heavy traffic. And they're desperate to fly, when they should just peel off and go to the beach. That's probably the conditions that I don't like. I like the strong stuff. I'm always happy for white caps.
What are you flying these days, by the way?
My instructor was Michael Nestler. He's a designer of paragliders, and at first he's designed for everybody. He's made gliders for Sol and Icaro, and now he's the swing designer. And I really like his RAST concept, which is a partition that separates the front half of the cord of your glider from the back half. So it's a little internal wall. It's a baffle. And what it does is it's like you have two air chambers, a front and a back. So let's say when you start inflating your glider, the front half will fill up really quickly, but it takes a while for it to trickle back into the back half of your glider. So your glider doesn't come up and snatch you off the ground in high wind. It's like a delayed filling through the glider. And then the exact opposite happens if you take a deflation. So really for flying in the mountains, it's the safest glider you can be on.
No kidding.
You'll take a deflation. It will only deflate the front half of the glider, not the back half. The back half maintains air pressure because it's its own separate sort of chamber. And and so like when they do testing on a gliders to see if it's an A, B, or C class, they'll do a deflation. And that deflation is measured by how much of the trailing edge, not the leading edge, the trailing edge is deflated. So they'll put a piece of tape so that the guy down below with the camera can see that the deflation went 50%, 70%, 30%, whatever they're testing for. And they're looking at the back half because it's the back half that is when things start to get out of control. So on the RAS technology, the back half doesn't deflate. And so I go out and I do frontals and just out over the beach, and it feels like you went through somebody's wake. You lose like 3 feet. It's funny.
So talk a little bit about your launch method, the Big Ears launch method.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with a tech. So I don't use rear risers at all, other than to completely kill the wing. And for me, I like kiting more than flying. I would much rather kite than fly. So it's kind of my specialty, and I would rather kite in rotor. I like being picked up off the ground, having half my wing collapse and being thrown back down to the ground, and then, my glider trying to drag me while I fight through it. To me, that's fun. It's more fun than flying. So I like the high wind launches, and I'm usually the guy that'll do the highest wind launch. And I don't use rear risers ever, other than to kill the wing. I don't use them for inflation or control. I use just A's, and sometimes no brakes at all. So I was trying to come up with a high wind inflation, and I invented the Big Ears technique. So kind of hard to explain, probably best to watch the video out there. It's on my YouTube channel. I think it's got like 70,000 views, so some people have watched it. And I hope people are learning off of it and maybe even improving it.
Yeah, I'll put a link to your YouTube channel in the description. I didn't find it until we were just about to go live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on there, man, and most of us here at Torrey Pines are using it. And they've done some little modifications where it fits their style. I think the only guy not using it here is Max. He's still doing A's and rears. And he can launch anything I can launch in for sure, and maybe more. But yeah, most people have adopted it. The only thing is if your glider has weak tip pressure, it's kind of hard to get the ears unstuck. I hate those kind of gliders. I like gliders with solid tip pressure where Big Ears pops out quick. But the unique thing about this Big Ears launch is you don't get snatched right off the ground because you have this small wing. And if you're flying tandem, one of the things that happens is when you do get plucked off the ground, you get spun really wild. And it happens on your solo too, right? Where you're doing a reverse inflation and your glider comes up violently and picks you up, and it kind of zings you around, and it's disorienting. Well, with the Big Ear launch, instead of me being, flung around like that, my passenger just kind of drifts over in front of me, and then we roll out, and it's super mellow. Yeah, try it with your solo, in mild wind first.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. I've never really finished it. I don't have it on lock, but I do try it every once in a while, and I agree with you on getting your wing out even when it's strong, just to for anything, just to learn what that wing really does. It just, your inputs are there's more authority, and I think it's absolutely fun. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about tandems. You tandem now pretty much for a living, no?
Yeah, I'm just doing tandem. So I was running the school, I don't know, a couple of years ago, and now I'm back on tandems, and just doing tandems. I probably do 1,000 to 1,500 a year.
And so let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, this is personal. You don't have to share, but does it pay well?
Yeah. I mean, it's I'm not going to buy one of these houses on the cliffs, that's for sure. But you know, while I'm up there, I can achieve a zen-like state and just be comfortable with being, you know, being myself and enjoying life. So it's worth it. It pays the bills.
You ever have somebody throw up on you?
I'm pretty quick, dude. Like I can tell when they start getting quiet, they're starting to feel a little nauseous.
Yeah.
And I pop over to the side and I deflect their head off to the side.
Yeah.
So they don't get me, man. I haven't had anybody get me.
Yeah.
I have had to wash a couple harnesses.
Yeah, yeah. You know, it's funny. I washed one of your harnesses the other day. Thank you. Yep. One of the guys came walking by. Oh, it was Steve. Yeah.
Oh,
one of his guys, Ralph. Pretty funny. So
you know, the coastal here is not too bad.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Here they're all right, but in the mountains they really don't like turning in thermals, man.
Okay, so I have to confess, I threw up on a tandem with Max.
Oh, no way, dude. Oh, Max will shake you up like a pop bottle, man.
So we did infinite tumble. Okay, so that's why I get an excuse. I get a pass for throwing up, right?
Yeah, you do.
And what, you know, it's oddly enough, the infinite tumble wasn't what got me. It was the sat and the helicopter that got me. And
wow.
yeah, after that I wanted down and I didn't make it to the ground before I released the burrito that we had before we flew. Yeah, lots of bad decisions made that day.
Good thing it was pre-COVID. You didn't have a mask on.
Yeah. Yep. That person who I helped clean up the mess with, you were probably there that day. She had ate something red. I mean, really red, not blood, but like some kind of and she had threw up into her mask. And
oh, no.
I don't know if you remember that. So anyways, yeah, super gross, but I saved it. They wanted to throw the harness away. And I'm like, no, you don't throw it away. Just go hose it off. And I took it over and hosed it off. Yeah. Have you ever launched with somebody who is completely freaking out to the max? And what did you do? And how did you mitigate the situation?
Yeah, you know what's tough with them is a lot of people are backpedaling. They're pushing back into you like they don't want to go off the cliff, you know, like a freaking stubborn mule.
Yeah.
And so I use my knees underneath their seat board, and so I just start beating them in the seat board, you know, kind of pop, 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 like to do like a high jogging maneuver where I sort of pop them off their feet, and they're going, man. Once we're hooked up, I don't mess around, man. They're going for the ride.
You going? You paid. You're flying.
Yeah, if they don't like it, I'll bring them back quick.
Yeah.
I had a little girl yesterday. She's like 6 years old, 6 or 8 years old. Just cute, man. And she tells me, she goes, if I'm scared, don't bring me back. She's like, I want to do this, but I'm terrified. And I don't let me quit. And I was like, wow, that is a brave soul right there. I told her, hey, we'll just fly around in the yard. We'll fly around on the grass. If you feel like going out, we'll go out. We flew around in the grass for a little bit, and she goes, take me to the mansions.
No kidding.
Yeah, dude, it was awesome. That was one of the best flights I've had in a long time.
Tough little kid.
Yeah, right?
That's awesome.
I had one guy, he was terrified, man, and he had lost a bet. And we take off, and we get up in the air, and he whips out his cell phone, and he goes, the Cowboys suck. And then he goes, okay, I want to go back.
No kidding.
He lost the bet, and he had to say that on the cell phone on the paraglider, and then he wanted down.
But he did it. Good man.
That's a bet.
So I take it he was a Dallas fan.
Yeah, right.
You never know what you're going to get at Torrey Pines. You never know. So we did kind of cover everything that I wanted to talk about. There's only 5 minutes left of the show. Is there any advice that you have for the aspiring pilot that wants to get involved? And I mean, we got people watching from across the country, and a lot of people are going to catch this afterwards, and plenty of people are going to probably hear this on the podcast. Any advice to the aspiring pilot?
Yeah, absolutely. So being a pilot is about making decisions, because a monkey can fly one of these gliders. It's too easy. It's about making decisions, and you're constantly reevaluating situations. So probably a book that people should read. They can write this down. It's called Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. And that is probably the best book on decision making out there. But probably a few of the things that I see. One, I see people that they've already made their decision to fly in the parking lot because they saw some gliders. And I see them as they're putting their gear together and as they're launching. They're not evaluating the situation that's rapidly changed since they last thought about it. And they launch anyway. And I see a lack of decision making is one of the things. The other thing that I see is people that they have not acquired a taste for cutting. You should acquire a taste for it. And it should be cool. It should be fun. It should be enjoyable. I have at least 100 flights when I'm up in the sky, looking down on 20 people sitting there on the takeoff, and they can't launch. They can't launch. You know, if they could launch, they could fly. The flying's easy, but they can't get their glider over their head. They're in the bushes. You know, they get dragged around or whatnot, or it's just too much. So, yeah, develop your kiting skills, develop your decision-making skills.
I like that. That's great advice. By the way, this show is brought to you by iFly Indiana Powered Paragliding. If you're interested in flying paramotors, no better place to get the proper training than iFlyIndiana.com. Kevin and his team will get your feet off the ground. Also, this show is brought to you by the Lone Star Paramotor team. If you're in the Lone Star state of Texas, you can reach out to Ron Turan and his team for world-class training. Their website is LoneStarParamotor.com. Also, the show is brought to you by Torrey Pines Glider Port. If you want to learn how to free fly in the most beautiful place in the United States, you can reach out to Max Marion or Steve Vanfleet or any one of the guys at Torrey Pines. The website is flytorrey.com. Hey, Craig, do you have any special announcements about one of our favorite sponsors?
I find my mute button. I do. Resurgence PPG is a 501c3 nonprofit for veterans by veterans. If you can do anything to help these guys, they are not only changing the lives of the veterans, but also the family and friends close and dear to them. Please do what you can. Smile.amazon.com will give a little bit back. They are raising funds and they do return it. ResurgencePPG.com. Tell Todd you came from paraglidingtalk.com.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Steve. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I really would like to do one where we can see your face. And would you come on the show again at some point? I feel like we just barely scratched the surface.
Absolutely, man. I would really love that.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here, and we're going to go to the after show. So if you're in the chat and you want to join us, put your email in the chat and we will send you. Don't worry, the algorithm on YouTube automatically will blot out your email address, and then Craig will zap it over. And stay tuned. Next week, we're going to do two giveaways since we didn't do a giveaway tonight. So stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to do a giveaway, two giveaways on next week's show. You're not going to want to miss next week's show. I'm not going to tell you who it is because I don't know who it is yet, but we will have somebody. And if not, we're going to talk about paragliding anyways. So thanks for watching. And Craig, thank you for your help tonight. And we're going to go to the after show. If I don't see you in the air, I'll see you on the air. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.